I've made a chocolate hazelnut cheesecake. I want to give it a little something to jazz it up a bit. So I'm gonna pour ganache over the top, which is just chocolate and cream that's mixed together until it's nice and glossy. And then maybe I'll give it a little bit of a spiral on the side. So I'm gonna start with my chocolate, and I use a super slicer knife because it has a serrated edge and it just cuts through the chocolate really, really easily. So I'll just rock it back and forth on top of the chocolate. I've chopped up my chocolate really nice and finely, and then I've heated up my cream just to a simmer. I'm gonna add my chocolate to the cream, and then I'm just gonna swirl that chocolate around in the cream until it's all submerged. And I'm gonna let it sit there for about 2 minutes. Gently whisk the chocolate and cream together. You don't want to whisk it too quickly because you don't want to incorporate air into your ganache. You want to stir that until all of the chocolate is melted, and then that's it. You have your ganache ready to go. And now we can pour that over our cheesecake cake. And then I'm also putting the cake up onto a cooling rack or something like this that will just lift the cake up off of your sheet tray, so that when the ganache flows over the side, you'll have something that catches it. And then I have a cookie sheet that's lined with parchment so that we can scoop that ganache up and use it again. And I'm gonna take my smooth ganache and I'm just gonna pour that right over the top of my cake. And you wanna go around in a circle. This ganache is really nice and thick, so just keep going until you get to the edge. You'll see that the ganache will just flow right over the sides, and my ganache is nice and thick so that it's gonna cling to the cake. If your ganache is too thin, it won't cling, it'll just run right off the side. So just if it seems thin, just let it cool off for about 10, 15, 20 minutes until you have a nice thick ganache. So once you have it poured on, if it's not perfectly smooth on the top, just shake the pan, just ever so slightly, not too much because you don't want the cake to actually move, but just to sort of shimmy some of that ganache down on the sides. And you should have a perfectly covered cake when you're done. I've transferred my cake to a turntable, and I'm gonna get this nice spiral on the side of my ganached cake just by using a spatula, a cake decorating spatula, and I'm gonna very, very gently hold that onto the cake and spin my turntable, just like this. And then as the cake is spinning, I'm gonna raise that spatula up until I get to the top. So that's a really nice, easy way to get a little bit of a flourish on your cake. And now we can decorate the top.